Good morning, Danny, Kenzie, Judah, Nathan, Anna, and Michael. My name is Uncle Greg, otherwise known as UG, and this is a story about a train called Huffy Puffy. Bang, bang, bang. The sound was so loud it shook Huffy Puffy's front door a little. My goodness, thought Huffy Puffy to himself, what is all that noise? Bang, 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 the noise continued. Huffy Puffy threw off his extra soft, extra bright, big red blanket that he had been given for his birthday. He had heard loud noises before. When the lion with the thorn in his paw gave a roar for the first time Huffy Puffy saw him, the windows on his carriages also rattled a little. This was no lion roar, however, but it was nearly as loud. The banging suddenly stopped, just as it had started. Then Huffy Puffy heard someone shouting. They did not sound angry. They were just shouting as if they were far away from the person they were trying to talk to. Huffy Puffy thought it quite unusual for someone to be shouting. People usually shouted when they were cross or when there was something wrong. If Huffy Puffy wanted to warn someone, he would give a very loud blast on his train horn, but it was because it was in an emergency. It didn't sound as if there was something wrong today. Huffy Puffy didn't know what to make of it all. All Huffy Puffy could do was wait for his driver and very best friend, Bill Markiplier, to come to the station house as he did every day, including Saturdays, and open the doors to Huffy Puffy's station house so he could get a better look at what was going on. Saturdays were Huffy Puffy's favourite days, as that was when he had a bath and a polish. Huffy Puffy was so shiny and clean after his polishing. Today was not Saturday, unfortunately. It was the Easter school holidays, so the children were not going to school today, and the mums and dads were not going to work either. Come on, Bill, thought Huffy Puffy impatiently to himself. The next moment, Huffy Puffy heard the keys rattling in the door of the station house, and the doors swung open. Good morning, Huffy Puffy, called Bill cheerfully. Good morning, Bill, replied Huffy Puffy hurriedly, peering around Bill to look out through the open doors. What's all that banging and shouting about? Asked Huffy Puffy. Bill broke out into a huge grin with a twinkle in his eye. That, said Bill, is a surprise, Huffy Puffy. Bill jumped up into the driver's compartment, started Huffy Puffy's engine, and gave a short toot with Huffy Puffy's train whistle, and slowly Huffy Puffy came out of his station house. There were people everywhere, some carrying long pieces of metal, others had huge hammers, and still others had boxes of what looked like really big nails. They were all very busy, putting the long bits of steel down and hammering the nails all over the place. All of a sudden, Huffy Puffy realized what the long bits of metal were. He had seen them somewhere before, he was sure of that, and then he realized. The long bits of steel were tracks, just like the ones you travelled on every day taking people into town. These tracks were shiny and new, but they were definitely tracks. Huffy Puffy just stared and stared. The men with the hammers and nails were hammering the tracks down to keep them in place. For a moment, Huffy Puffy couldn't speak. Why are they making new tracks, he wondered. What was wrong with the old ones? And anyway, these new tracks were going the wrong way. You would never get to town on these tracks. Bill, said Huffy Puffy, a little concerned, what are the new tracks for? Where will they go? Well, Huffy Puffy, replied Bill with a huge smile on his face, that is what the surprise is all about. These tracks are going to the seaside. The what? Asked Huffy Puffy, a little confused. The seaside? What's the seaside? Oh, don't worry, Huffy Puffy. You'll love the seaside. There's the sea, which is like a huge swimming pool that has waves, and there's a beach, lots of new animals to see, like fish and seagulls, and there are huge ships that pass by. The children can play in the waves, and the mums and dads can swim, and there's an ice cream shop right there on the beach. My goodness, said Huffy Puffy. I've never been to the seaside. What's ice cream? Ah, you'll love ice cream, said Bill, promised Huffy Puffy. In fact, you'll love all of it. Just wait and see. Bill rummaged around in his bag. I have a present for you, Huffy Puffy, said Bill suddenly. As he spoke, he pulled out a pair of bright red sunglasses. You'll need these at the beach, said Bill. Try them on. And here is Huffy Puffy's bright red sunglasses. Oopsie, that disappeared. Hold on. Sorry, hang on. I need my sunglasses back. There they are. There's Huffy Puffy's sunglasses. Huffy Puffy tried them on. Bill had a mirror that he used to show Huffy Puffy how he looked. Huffy Puffy liked his new glasses immediately. He thought he looked very smart. When can we go to the beach? Asked Huffy Puffy excitedly. As soon as the tracks are done, replied Bill. Shouldn't be too long now. The next day, Huffy Puffy had connected up his carriages, put on his dark glasses, collected all the children and the mums and dads, and was ready to go. Not to town today, but to the seaside. On his brand new, shiny track. He was so excited. He tried to give a little whistle, but all he could manage was a little squeak. All aboard, called Bill, and off they went. This time there were no big trees, one on the right and one on the left, and no bridge to cross. This was a whole new journey, with so many things to see. Huffy Puffy went past green fields where there were cows grazing grass. Others had farmers working on them. He went past forests and streams, and in the distance was a mountain that was so far away it looked as if it was blue. They went past houses and shops. Huffy Puffy could barely take it all in. It was amazing. Before long, Bill was slowing Huffy Puffy down as they were getting near the beach. Huffy Puffy could see the sea and the waves crashing on the shore, the seagulls and lots of people building sandcastles and playing in the water. As he watched, a school of fish jumped out of the water and seemed to wave to Huffy Puffy. Huffy Puffy had never seen anything like it. Here's a picture of the beach where Huffy Puffy was. You can see all the mums and dads and the kids all playing with sort of a kite and all sorts of things. People eating ice cream and playing with a ball, and looks like a lot of fun. Umbrellas and all sorts of things everywhere. What a day Huffy Puffy had at the seaside. Later that night, as Bill was tucking him into his blanket, Huffy Puffy sighed happily. Thank you, Bill, he said sleepily. That was the best day ever. My pleasure, replied Bill. What was your favourite part, Huffy Puffy? The chocolate ice cream, replied Huffy Puffy, and fell sound asleep. That's the end. I hope you enjoyed this story about Huffy Puffy and his new tracks.